Okay. Hello guys, how are you everyone? And it's good to see you after such a long time. And this is going to be part one of multiple part series. Like there is going to be like 4 or 5 other videos. This is the part one of my collection series of 2022, and in this first video I'm going to be sharing with one of my current passion, which are fountain pens. Yes, these little tiny objects are have become a crucial part of my daily life, and I really enjoy writing with them. It has also been very helpful for me to improve my handwriting, and I have improved my handwriting because of them. And in today's video I am going to be sharing my fountain pen collection with all of you guys for early 2022. Before I start the video, I need to tell you some of the big disclaimer which is there. I have some biases towards the collecting aspect, and especially about the fountain pens and everything, because this is something that you do not need. This is something that you desire. So you need to be wise with your finances. And in the future videos, I am definitely going to be talking about your financing, how you can finance, personal finance, budgeting, etc., because I have certain knowledge about those things, and I would love to share with all of you guys. So I have some biases towards my collection, so let me tell you one of them. Okay, bias number 1. First of all, I am only allowed to buy the pens which I absolutely love, not like absolutely love. Second point. Secondly, I need to restrict my budget, because at the end of the day, as much as I like these objects, this is my hobby, and I need to set a fixed budget for all of those things. So I have set a budget of around 2000 INR, which is roughly about 25 to 30 US dollars. And point number 3. And in case if I come across any pen which is above my set budget, it has to be my Grail pen. If you do not know what the Grail pen means, for my definition of the Grail pen is the pen which is going to be used by me throughout my life, and that pen is going to be aging with me. I have just one of them right now, which I am going to be telling you at the last. And the last disclaimer which I have, number 4. I have a tendency to acquire the classy fountain pens, like which has a design which is timeless. So majority of them are like certainly in the dark shades or mostly blacks. So I have that bias. Like you are not going to find any acrylics or ebonite. So far I don't have any. So this lengthy disclaimer out of the way, let's get started with the collection. My fountain pen number 1 for today is this one. This is the Jinhao x450. This is technically not my first fountain pen, but this is the fountain pen which got me into this hobby. Now I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of this one, along with the writing samples, and you are going to see. Firstly, it is one of the smoothest nib in my collection. It is really wet, it writes really wonderfully, and I can carry it anywhere, anytime, no problems whatsoever. But it has some cons as well, like whenever I need to post this one, it does not post that securely. As you can see, it falls down. So that is a con for me, because I am a compulsive poster. So the posting does not work that well in this pen, and especially the gold ring around here is not the best of the quality. Like as you can see, I'm going to be showing you in the sample video. I have a gold ring, and look at the hue of this gold one, and it is also tarnishing or coming out. So build quality is not the best, but good for the price, I would say. And the ink flow is not very consistent, I would say. Like whenever I fill up the pen, it is like it writes really smooth, really wet, and after few pages it gets dry. Not to the point it feels scratchy or anything like that, but it has some little flow issues, I would say. And yeah. Now coming to the second pen of my collection, this time this one. This is a Parker. I really don't know what the name is. This was an impulsive purchase, I would say. I went to buy papers for my fountain pen, or I came across this pen and I just bought it in the heat of the moment. It does look really nice. Like it has a italic nib, writes okay. Like it is little bit on a scratchy side because it does not have any tipping material. So, but for an italic nib, it writes really well. Whatever the sheening or shading inks you have, this can make it work really well, in my opinion. But there are some cons, obviously, from this one. As you can see in this one, I have big hands. I have like double XL hands. I'm like 5'11", and this pen is tiny for my hand. Like it is not suitable for me for long writing session. The third pen in my collection is this one. This is one gorgeous looking pen. This is like one of the best looking pens in my collection. Like whenever anybody looks at my collection as a whole, somebody is definitely gravitated towards this pen, and this is like quite heavy. So if you want to make an impression onto somebody, like showing the fountain pen, like this is the way to go. So this is Jinhao x450, and it does not have the stock nib. It has a oblique broad Kanwrite nib, and this pen is really smooth. It is like the smoothest and the wettest nib which I have currently. So being an oblique broad nib, so whenever you are writing something like crossways, it is writing thick, and whenever you are writing something in the upstroke, it is like thin. So if you are writing anything in the blocks, or even for Hindi, like if you are writing Hindi, Marathi, Sanskrit, or any kind of a Devanagari script or Latin, like especially in the blocks, like it is really good for that. You must try an oblique broad if you write Hindi or Latin, I would say. It is not very common. It is a very uncommon nib, I would say, but boy, this writes phenomenally well. Like it is one of the smoothest nib in my collection. Like there are two pens which are like really smooth, like this one and my Jinhao x450. These two are like the smoothest nib which I have in my collection. This pen does have its downside. It is like quite heavy, and it does not post really well. Like even if you post this pen, as you can see, it is quite heavy to write anything. And being super wet pen, I need to prime this very often. Like all my Jinhao pens, I need to prime it very often, and it does not write a lot. Like I would say just 8 to 5 pages, that's it. But this pen looks phenomenal. Like it does have real wood in this one. I don't remember which wood it is. I think rosewood or whatever, but the wood in this one is like really of a good quality, and this definitely looks like some kind of a limited edition with this sword clip and this wood finish. Like it does look very premium and much more expensive than what it is. But for some reason this is my least used pen. I don't know why I don't use this one. Maybe in the future, let's see. pen number 4 in the order, which is my Jinhao Centenail 100. It does not have a stock nib. It came with a fine nib. I swapped it out for Kanwrite medium flex nib. Like, if you are from US or anywhere else, like from the West, you might be aware of what do you say, FPR, fountain pen revolution, and what was the one? What was the name of that? Noodler's Ahab. I suspect that the Kanwrite is the main company behind providing this nib, because these nibs look really similar. And as you can see in the writing sample, this is like really smooth for medium writing. It is like my most versatile pen, and it is really comfortable. Like, it is very lightweight and I can write for hours and hours. This is the most comfortable pen which I have in my collection. And you can easily write cursive with this because it is like really smooth. And if you want to write block print, like, it is really suitable for that as well. Do remember, this one is good for note taking, as it is a hard flex nib. So if you're writing, it is not going to flex at all. But if you apply pressure, and it does require a lot of pressure to flex, so then it is going to flex for you. Again, I do not have much cons for this one, apart from like certain looks. I would definitely buy a black version of this thing, because the color is like okay. Like, I wish it was red, but the color is the only thing which I do not like. And yeah, it does not post as well. Like, I like the pen which post. And as you can see, it looks ridiculous. Like, it looks really long. It is not meant to be posted. So that's the con for me. And for me, I average around 15 to 20 pages if I'm writing with flex, and like normally with this pen. Because if you're flexing it is going to require a lot of because if you're flexing the pen, like, it is going to require a lot more ink than usual. So, coming to the second last pen in my collection, and the most controversial one, this one. And no, it is not the Mont Blanc. As you can see from it, does not have a Mont Blanc logo, but it does look really close to a Mont Blanc. I've held a same Mont Blanc Rouge Noir black version in a store, and this pen looks and feel very similar to that one. So this one is Moonman F9. As you can see, it does come with a fine nib, and you can also see the nib. Like, it does have an engraving of snake, and it does have an engraving of snake in the cap of this one. This looks very controversial, and it is like really close, or really close copy of Rouge Noir of Mont Blanc. And I don't generally use fine nibs. Like, I like buttery smooth nibs, and fines are not meant for that. And but this one has changed my mind completely. I was not expecting it to be this smooth, but this is a really smooth nib from Moonman, I would say. And a big credit goes to Mont Blanc, because they are the one who designed this pen. And man, this looks really good. As you can see, again, this is like too small from my hand. It again do not post, and it has a very little ink capacity. Like, I can get like 7 to 10 pages, like A4 pages with this. And it also takes a long time to clean, because it is a piston filler. So it takes around me 4 to 5 minutes to clean it. And last but not the least, the build quality of this pen is like really good. Like, I do not have a side to side, but I have held the original Rouge Noir, and obviously that has a superior fit and finish. And as you can see, like, if you can see this thing, the snake is slightly, ever so slightly tilted to in the sideways. Like, the fit and finish is not up to the mark, but still, like, it is very close enough to the original one. But this pen, man, this pen looks and feels so good, so good. Okay, Okay, so we have came to the last pen of my collection, and by now you might guess like this is the only Grail pen which I have by far, and this is the most expensive pen, my crown jewel of my collection, and by a long shot I would say. And this is my pre-birthday gift, and I bought it in this Christmas of 2021. And this pen deserves its own story. There is like a big roller coaster of getting this pen, how I got it. So this pen is the most expensive pen in my collection, and by a long shot I would say. And this is like the crown jewel of my collection currently. And so this is a Pilot Custom 843 with a broad nib, and not only a broad nib, like it does have a real 14 karat gold nib. And currently it is inked up with Diamine 1864 blue black. Now let's come to the pros and cons of this pen really quickly. Like I really like the look and feel of this pen. Like in my opinion, this is the best looking pen in my collection. Like it posts really well. Finally, at least I have one pen which posts really well, man. And it is a very reliable writer. It never skips. It never had a hard start. This is the most used pen by far in my collection. Like I use it every single day non-stop. And another pro for this one is like it is a vacuum filler. It is a vacuum filler, so entire barrel can be filled up with ink. So it has a big ink capacity and much more than and it writes much more than my other pens. Like I average somewhere around 55 to 65 pages, like again in the A4 size with A4 paper, which is very absorbent, not fountain pen friendly. Now let's come to the cons. I told you that it is a very reliable writer, but it is not a consistent writer. What I mean by that is, I watched almost every single review, almost every single video which is there in the YouTube regarding this pen, but for some reason whenever it writes smoothly, it writes like nothing else. It writes smooth with a hint of feedback, which I really like the one of the best writer which I have in my collection. But I don't know why, but whenever I fill it up till completely, it writes very dry and it has a lot of feedback. And especially like in this downward cross stroke, it feels very scratchy. I don't understand why. Like there is, and I definitely need to get it tuned by some nib master regarding the maybe I need to adjust my grip according to that because of the tipping material, or maybe the feed is not correct, but whatever. But it does have some inconsistency, and for the pen of this price and this caliper, I was not expecting that. But still, those negativity aside, this is the most used pen in my collection, and this is the crown and jewel. I love this pen. I use this a lot, as you can see. Okay, so let's come to my final thoughts. Like these are like my writing instrument, which I use them every single day. I journal with them. I use them a lot. I really love them. So this one was part 1 of my collection series. Like this one was my fountain pen collection of 2022, and the next collection is going to be on my watches, which I'm going to be sharing really soon. And if you guys are watching my video till now thus far, I really appreciate you guys. Like thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. And this year I'm going to be very consistent with my uploads. I promise you that. And you are the reason I'm making this video. Thank you so much, and please do like and subscribe. That might help my channel grow. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. It took me a lot more time than I was expecting to make this video. Now I'm hungry. I need this. See you, bye bye.